I'm back! Hello book friends. So where have I been? I needed an extended eyeball break. I'll explain more of that later. Oh, look at my new necklace. Isn't it cute? It's Daisy's. While I've been gone, I've been doing a ton of unproductive things. One of those things being scrolling in dangerous territory, Amazon. And I bought a lot of things. I should do a haul. If I could even round up all the stuff I got. I got so much stuff. Yeah, anyway. But for today, we're gonna talk about Christmas books. So here's the thing. I love the Christmas season. I love the festivities, the decorations. You feel like you're shopping with a purpose. I love it. But what I don't love is all of the Christmas themed media. If I have to listen to All I Want for Christmas Is You one more time, I'm going to toss my Discman out the window with a CD in it because that is the century that song belongs in. I know not very many people are going to agree with me, but I'm going to say it anyways. I don't think there was an actually likable Christmas song until Taylor Swift released Christmas Tree Farm. Well, maybe some people who watch these videos will agree with me on that. Because honestly, does anybody actually think Hark the Herald Angels Sing is a good song? Nobody thinks it's a good song. Nobody bops along to that song. And you can't forget I Saw Mommy Kissing Santa Claus. That song needs to be investigated by the FBI. Anyway, Hallmark Christmas movies. I don't like those either. My favorite Christmas movie is How the Grinch Stole Christmas. Thank you for asking. Okay, I'm getting serious now. I'm Mr. One Christmas. So around this time of year, there are naturally a lot of Christmas books making the rounds, many of which are romances, basically a Hallmark movie in book form. When I think of a Hallmark movie, I think of a movie that is intended to be comforting, feel good in the moment entertainment, but at the end of the day is kind of pointless and unimpactful. You won't learn anything or realize anything about yourself or society because nothing that really happens in these movies are that deep. In fact, it's also cliche. You can probably give minute-by-minute predictions and you'll be correct 90% of the time. And that's how we love it. There's nothing wrong with that if that's what you're in the mood for. And actually, sometimes I'm in the mood for that kind of thing because it's a good stress reliever in some cases. But what bothers me about Christmas movies is that they're often built on stereotypes about women and relationships and traditions, and that annoys me. And so most of the time, I just don't like to partake. But nonetheless, I wanted to read a couple of the popular Christmas books that I've seen making the rounds on social media this season because I thought maybe they'll warm my little icicle heart. So this week I have read A Merry Little Meet Cute by Julie Murphy and Sierra Simone and So This Is Christmas by Tracy Andreen. And we'll see if these two can change my mind about Christmas books. If you like these types of videos, please subscribe if you haven't already and ring that notification bell so you don't miss any of my future book rambles. So let's go and get talking about these books.
Last year I thought about how things can come around just like that if everyone is here to celebrate one day. We have our ups and downs, but when there's love there's always a way. And oh, this time of year we come together to celebrate. Yes, every time the snow is falling down and it is cold outside, we gather around the fireplace and no one cares about yesterday. My favorite holiday, it means so much more than words can say. And I claim that Christmas is a magic day. Sometimes I tend to forget what glory this holiday.
Okay, so let's talk about A Merry Little Meet Cute by Julie Murphy and Sierra Simone. So this story is a dual perspective following our main couple, B and Nolan. It's basically a parody Hallmark movie set around the production of a Hallmark-ish movie. Mind twister. Let's define a Hallmark movie. To me, a Hallmark movie contains a lot of cheesy scenes about people falling in love, but contains a jumble of silly, contrived, campy situations that are completely unreasonable. Because conflict is uncomfortable, and these books aren't meant to make any sort of statement or change the world. They're just supposed to be comforting entertainment for the moment, and that's it. just to make you feel warm and fuzzy for a couple of hours, and then you move on. Before I say anything more about that, this book follows the two stars of a Hope Flix movie, which is basically a Hallmark movie, where they meet for the first time and film the movie together. Like I said before, this book is a dual perspective, which I actually do like in a lot of these like romance type books, because it helps you understand like the full perspective of how the characters, how both sides of the relationship are feeling, rather than having it only through the lens of one person. It makes the story feel more full when you can see both characters' perspective of the story or the new relationship, rather than just one person's side, and then you have all of the what ifs, I don't know what's going on, and sometimes that annoys me. So the female lead is B. B is an adult actress, if you know what I mean, which she doesn't mind, but she has always wanted to be a mainstream actress. But being plus size, opportunities for her are limited. So when she gets the chance to be in this movie, because the original actress got some sort of cartoony injury, but not before taking 4 minutes to scream and doubt herself before calling back to accept the role. Nolan, B's co-star and the other half of the main couple, is a washed-up boybander who is also trying to transition to being a respectable actor. But like B, he is also working in the adult film industry to make money to take care of his mom and sister. So Nolan and B are in the same situation. They're both trying to get their careers to the next level while working in the adult film industry and trying to keep that a little on the down low. So Nolan and B are in the same situation. They're both trying to get their careers to the next level. This much they know about each other. However, both of them are under the impression that the other doesn't know who they are. As in, Nolan doesn't know that B knows that he's a washed-up boybander, and B doesn't know that Nolan knows that she is an adult film actress. So they both think they're getting a fresh start on the set with no preconceived notions, which is wrong. So they're both wrong. They both know who the other one is, but they aren't saying that they know because it seems like the other, which is both of them, don't want them to know. It's kind of confusing. So it's just a funny dynamic. That was entertaining for a while. But my problem was, over halfway through the book, that dynamic hadn't really progressed, and I didn't see where it was going. So I actually did DNF this book a little over halfway through. This is how far I got. Pretty much exactly halfway. It had some entertaining factors, but overall, I just didn't enjoy what I was reading. And from a literary standpoint, it failed to make me care enough about the story or the characters to make me feel the need to push through so that I could find out what happened at the end. I didn't like either of the characters. Nolan is a disgusting man. All he thinks about is sex. And throughout what I read, I saw no emotional growth, where he shows any inclination to want to get to know B or like her for anything besides her body. He's not even ashamed that he doesn't try at all to get to know her. B is not nearly as disgusting, but she also shows no inclination to want to get to know Nolan for who he is. She kind of just sees him as her teenage self fantasy because she recognized him from when she was a teenager. She just sees him as her teenage fantasy come to life. She likes the idea of him, but she doesn't really want to get to know the real him. Maybe she's afraid to get to know the real him because she knows he'll probably be a disappointment. He sure is a disappointment to me. I also felt like the authors were trying as hard as they could to pack in as many hot topic themes as they could without giving them any real reason to be there. Sex work is a big one. Both of the characters do sex work, but they're both trying to hide it. They both say they're not ashamed of it, but they are. And they both think if other people found out about it, it would hold them back in their careers. These are legitimate concerns, so I can't fault the characters for feeling this way. The problem is that over halfway through the book, neither of the characters are doing anything to try to grow from these feelings. I appreciate when controversial topics are included in books, but it has to feel like it really belongs there. And in this case, it doesn't feel like it belongs, and it doesn't feel like it's adding anything to the story. It's just there for the sake of being controversial. So unless they have a radical change of heart at the end, I just don't see the character progression going very far, and that's disappointing. That's why I read these books. Another theme is body positivity because B is plus size. Representation is great, we love it. Except almost every mention of her plus size body after Nolan is introduced is through the lens of Nolan sexualizing it. Maybe early on Bea mentioned something about loving her body, but as soon as Nolan is in the picture, I feel like ownership over her body transfers to him. Then there are the quips about Nolan's mom having bipolar disorder and how the Medicaid system is terrible and her medicine is gonna cost like $1,000 without telling them, or something like that. That never goes anywhere. These are true statements, but they really have no bearing on the story. These topics and little quips are far removed from the task at hand, which is for Bea and Nolan to overcome their feelings of insecurity and admit who they are to one another and be together. That's the task at hand. And I know I didn't read the whole book, but I'm usually pretty good at knowing when the book is not gonna work out. Maybe there could be a surprise later, but I just feel like with the amount that I read, I should see where it's going. And I just didn't see enough progression in all of these issues that I wasn't a fan of to warrant me reading the rest of the book. Overall thoughts, it just read like a jumbled mess. To me, it just felt like reading smutty fan fiction, where things were just jumping from encounter to encounter with no real purpose or direction. But on the positive side, there were some one-liners that were pretty good in the beginning. But they got old kind of fast when I realized they weren't adding up to anything. Maybe I'm expecting too much. But I like when jokes are funny as jokes, but they're also meaningful and ironic as well. And because of that, they add to the overall story. Like if the book is good and well edited, everything in the book, everything that makes it into the book is relevant to the overall story. Like nothing feels like a wasted space holder because the character didn't have anything else to say. I don't think there should be any of that. So why did I DNF it at the point that I did? It just got so cringy and I couldn't handle it anymore. Sorry. Just no.
But it's fair to say that Christmas is a magic day. This year I'll think about how I'm so lucky to have a place that I can come home to. Yes, I am on my way. We'll put our differences aside and just enjoy this moment of peace and love and happiness. We come together to celebrate. Yes, every time the snow is falling down and it is cold outside, we gather around the fireplace and no one cares about yesterday. My favorite holiday, it means so much more than words can say. And I claim that Christmas is a magic day. Sometimes I tend to forget what glory this holiday represents. But it's fair to say that Christmas is a magic day.
So then we have So This Is Christmas by Tracy Andreen. I was hoping this one would be better, and it was. Let me explain. So this is a YA book if there was ever such a YA book. This story follows a teenager named Finley. The story starts out with Finley at this prestigious boarding school, and she got accepted by the skin of her teeth, and she's feeling very insecure about that. She feels like she's failing, and her grades aren't up to her expectations, and she feels like she's just not fitting in with the other students. Finley is from a little town called Christmas, Oklahoma, and the boarding school is in New England somewhere. The point is, it's quite a culture shock, and Finley just feels like she doesn't belong. So the majority of the story takes place in Christmas, Oklahoma, over the Christmas holiday. So it's hard to describe what this book is about because it's about a lot of things, yet it's about nothing. Let me explain. There isn't any one drama or conflict that's at the center of the story. It's really just about life as a teenage girl, dealing with insecurities around school, mean girls, not fitting in, a boy, family issues, all very normal stuff. So overall, it's very low stakes, which I like sometimes because they're comforting, and you know you're not gonna have any anxiety because of drama that's happening to a character that's not even you. Like, sometimes there's a lot of drama in your life and you don't want to read about more drama that's gonna give you anxiety. So you just want to watch someone else's story play out. And there's nothing wrong with that. So that's what this story is about. It's just watching a teenage girl navigate being a teenage girl. I feel like I would have really loved this book if I had read it when I was a teenager, because I would have identified with almost everything that's happening in Finley's life. But I think because I read it so late, I just didn't identify with a lot of what Finley was dealing with. I empathized with her, but I felt like I lived through everything she's dealing with, and I lived to tell the tale. And so it just didn't feel as impactful as it would have if I had read it when I was dealing with all of these things. So you might be thinking, it's a YA book. What did you expect? I have actually read some very consequential YA books written for younger audiences, and they're still very impactful, no matter your age, because the conflicts feel universal. Harry Potter being one of them. To me, Finley was the least interesting character in the story, even though she was the main character. To me, it felt like Finley was just sort of an anchor to base all of these other storylines around. Storylines that could have some weight if they weren't side plots. Finley's Grandma Jo has an interesting story, which I won't spoil. There is also a frenemy named Aisha, whose family situation was much more interesting than Finley's. Also not going to spoil. I had a hard time finding any particular theme or point to this story, but then I thought maybe the point is just Finley being average. And Finley maybe needing to realize how fortunate she is with all of her mundane problems, because a lot of the people around her, their problems were a lot bigger than hers. People around her had problems, and her problems really paled in comparison. And so I think Finley's journey through all of this was really about opening her eyes and expanding her worldview beyond just her tiny little world and her little problems. So one thing I thought this book got right was really capturing Finley's mood throughout in the tone of the book. If I had to describe the book's tone and Finley's mood in one word, that word would be ugh. Like that emoji with the straight lines for eyes and a mouth. That emoji is basically Finley. Like, she's not hysterical about anything, but she's also never showing any happiness either. She's just bleh. But maybe a lot of us felt like that as teenagers. I think I did. So the book really captured the teenage experience well. Is that super riveting for a 30-something? Maybe not. But it would be super riveting for a 15-year-old. I did finish this book, possibly waiting for something dramatic to happen, but it never did. And immediately when I finished, I gave a somewhat exasperated, a negative, what did I just read? But after giving it some thought, I see the merit in it. And I'm just not the intended audience. I would call this an enjoy it for what it is book, especially if you're an adult whose teenage drama years are thankfully long behind them. But if you're a teenager, this would be something I think you would really identify with. Honestly, I don't know quite how to feel about these holiday romances. On one hand, I'm disappointed that I didn't love them, but I also went into this thinking that I wouldn't love them. So do I have any right to be disappointed? Then there's that small eternal optimist in me that feels like there has to be something better out there. But on the other hand, one of these books wasn't bad. It just wasn't made for me. One of them was terrible though. I do have a few more holiday romances on my radar, which are A Very Merry Bromance by Lisa K. Adams, The Christmas Bookshop by Jenny Colgan, and the ever-popular In a Holidays by Christina Lauren. I think I might start with that one because it seems like it would be fun. I'm just not in the mood for anything too heavy. So I may try out those to see if they're better, and I might do another Christmas video. I'm really not sure. I'm just kind of winging it at this point. So yeah, that is all for today. I think I am all Christmased out. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!